Hello guys, welcome to the statistics class 10th part 4. So hope you liked our previous videos on the NCERT chapter and the exercise that we have continued to solve. So today we'll continue where we left off last time. Exercise 14.1 statistics chapter. Okay. Let us read out this question quickly. In a retail market, fruit vendors were selling mangoes kept in packing boxes. These boxes contain a varying number of mangoes. The following was the distribution of mangoes according to the number of boxes. So there are number of boxes and the number of mangoes which is given in a tabular format. Number of mangoes are in grouped manner, right? This is how the grouped data looks like. 52, 52, 53 to 55, like that. So there are 15 such boxes where number of mangoes range from 50 to 52. Okay. Now the question is, find the mean number of mangoes kept in a packing box. So we have to find out the mean number, and we also have to tell which method we are going to choose to find out the mean of this grouped data. One thing that you might have noticed in this particular question is the classes are not continuous. The classes are not continuous. So what do we mean by that? By that I mean, if you see the first group is from 50 to 52. So if I just draw a quick number line, I can say that the first group is from 50 to group 1, 52. Okay, and the second group is from 53 to 52, 55. Okay, so if you see these two groups, there is a gap. Okay, what is that gap? This is that gap. This is the gap. 50 to 53, there is a gap. Usually what happens is the class should be 50 to 52, and then next would be 52 to 54 or whatever, 55, like that, so that there is a continuity. Right now there is a gap, you see, between 52 and 53. So what we are going to do is, we have to find out how can we make the class continuous if it is not already. Okay, and how do we do that, how to make the classes continuous. Okay, so if you see 50 to 52, let me write this again, 50 to 52 here, and next grouping is from 53 to 55. So what is the gap? You saw the gap is between 52 and 53. What is the gap amount or the size? The size which is the gap is 1 unit, right? 1, I'll say 1. And what is that gap? 53 minus 52. Okay, this gap of 1 needs to be divided by 2. Okay, so you will have to half this gap so that you will get 0.5. Okay, now you add this 0.5 to the class interval upper limit. You add 0.5 here and you subtract 0.5 from the lower limit, and you do it for all these groups. Hope you understood. You first find out what is the gap. The gap here is 1. You half it. You half it, you will get the value as 0.5. Now you take this half, you increase the upper limit by 0.5 and decrease the lower limit by 0.5 within that group, and you do that for all the groups. Okay, so what happens when we do this activity? So the new class interval, I'll say class interval. So this is the new class interval. Your class interval first will look like 49.5 to 52.5. You see, I have increased the upper limit by 0.5 and decreased lower limit by 0.5. Similarly, I'll do the same activity here. Increase this by 0.5 and decrease this lower limit by 0.5. So I'll get 52.5 here, and this will become 55.5. So the next grouping will be 55.5 to 58.5. This will be 58.5 to 61.5. last one will be 61.5 to 64.5. So we got all the groups now. So you see the upper limit of the first group is same as lower limit of the next group, succeeding group, which means the class intervals have become continuous. This is what we have to do first. If the class intervals have a gap in between, which was in this case. Now, how to find out the class marks? We have already discussed in our previous videos. If you haven't gone through them, just watch them from the beginning and you will be able to understand all the basics and concepts that you need to know. Class marks is nothing but midpoint of the class interval. If 49.5 and 52.5 are the end points, okay, the midpoint will be 51. Okay, if you have to understand it simply, just draw a number line. Okay, if you draw a number line, this is just for illustration purpose. If this is 49.5, next if you add 1 you will get 50.5, next add you will get 51.5, and next you will get 52.5. So if I can represent this class interval here, this is how on the number line it will look like: 49.5, 52.5, and you see you will have 50.5, 51.5. And what will be the midpoint? You see the midpoint will be here, right? Why I am drawing a number line is because I want to show you diagrammatically that midpoint will be somewhere here. So what is that midpoint going to be? It is between 50.5 and 51.5. So the answer will be 51. Okay, you can also find out 49.5 plus 52.5 divided by 2. You will get 51. But to calculate this will take some time. If you just think it mentally in a number line, you will quickly tell that this is going to be 51. Okay, similarly this will give you 54. Okay, this will give you 57, like this. This will be 60, this will be 63. Okay, now you can take the assumed mean as 57, just like how we did it in all our previous videos. 57. And why do we do that? Because multiplying f1 and x1 at this stage, right, 15 into 51, 110 into 54, this will lead to very big numbers and you will take too much of time to calculate them. That's why we have got two more methods. One is the assumed mean method, the other one is step deviation method. So we'll start from finding out the deviation first. We'll assume the mean to be 57, and we will find out what is the difference of all the class marks from that assumed mean. Okay, so this is 57 minus 57, which is equal to 0. This will be 54 minus 57 minus 3. This will be minus 6. This will be 3. 60 minus 57. This will be 6. So now you see the numbers which we have got as deviations as minus 6, minus 3, 0, 3, 6. Now you see a common pattern where 3 is a factor. So you can take h as 3. Okay. Ui becomes di divided by 3. What's the value that you are going to get for ui for the first one? Minus 6 by 3 is minus 2. This will be minus 1. This will be 0, 1, 2. Okay, now you see that from these xi's that you had to calculate, now you have come down to this one, which is easier to handle. Calculation will be simpler. So what method do you use here is step deviation method. So we'll use step deviation method. Fi and ui we will multiply. So I'm writing here ui. Okay, let us quickly calculate. 15 into minus 2 will be minus 30. 110 multiplied by minus 1. So it will be minus 110. 135 multiplied by 0 is 0. 115 multiplied by 1 is 115. 25 multiplied by 2 is 50. Okay, so this multiplication has become very simple. Now we'll have to find out what is sigma fi ui. Okay, summation. How will you sum this up mentally if you want to? 115 minus 110 is 5, right? The difference is 5. The difference is 5 here. And 50 minus 30 is 20. Okay, so 20 plus 5, 25. So 25 is the summation. Okay, and what's the value of sigma fi? Sigma fi is going to be calculation of all these, right? So how will you total it up? First sum the hundreds. 1, 2, 3. 300, you know, it is 300. Okay, now you add 2 digits. 15 plus 10 is 25. 25 plus 35 is 60. 60 and 15 is 75. 75 plus 25 is 100. So you had got 300 plus 100. So summation is 400. I'm just showing you how to calculate it mentally faster. So you will get summation as 400 here. Now let us look at how my formula for mean looks like for step deviation. Simple. A plus sigma fi ui by sigma fi, this multiplied by h. Okay. What is our assumed mean? 57. Here it is. Sigma fi we have calculated as 75. Sorry, 25 divided by sigma fi is 400 multiplied by h. What is h? The value of h is 3. Okay. So now how do we calculate it? Simply we'll keep 57 as it is, and 100 we are not going to divide. We are not going to cancel out 25 or 100. So instead what you can do is you can express it in this way: 25 into 3 by 4 divided by 100. It is one and the same. If you clearly see, if you see the 100 is the denominator and 4 you have just taken up so that you can take this material as the complete one. And why did we do so? Because division by 100 is just shifting the decimals, which is easier to do. Okay, so let us write 57 plus 25 multiplied by 3 is very simple, 75 by 4 divided by 100. Let us quickly divide 75 upon 4. This is easier to handle. 4 1 4 35, 4 8 32. You'll get 3.037, so 18.75. Okay, so you get the value as 18.75 upon 100. So you will get 57 plus, you have to just shift the decimal. So the answer is simple, 57.1875. This is the mean that we are looking for. Just to recapitulate what we tried to do, the classes were initially not continuous. We saw that there is a gap of 1 between 52 and 53. So this gap we have to half it. Half will give us 0.5. This 0.5 will have to add to the upper limit, and we have to decrease the lower limit by 0.5. So we will have a new class interval 49.5 to 52.5 in place of 50 to 52. Similarly, we do this activity for all the class intervals which are there. Okay, now we find out what is the class marks. Since class marks is midpoint, just mentally visualize how the number line will show these numbers 49.5 to 52.5. You will see the midpoint will be somewhere in the middle. The value will be 51. Similarly, you found all the midpoints here. You took 57 as the assumed mean, and then you subtracted the assumed mean from all the class marks. You got the numbers as -6, -3, 0, 3, 6. You further saw that there is a pattern, and what is that pattern? Pattern is you saw a common factor of 3, you divided by 3. You got simple numbers as -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Now you know that step deviation method will make your calculation even more easier than the assumed mean method. So you did a product of fi and ui. That will give you sigma fi ui is 25, sigma fi is 400. You put it in the formula here. M is equal to a plus sigma fi ui by sigma fi multiplied by h. You just arrange the terms in such a way that the calculation becomes simpler. 57.1875. Hope you understood this solution. Let's look at the next question. The table below shows the daily expenditure on food of 25 households in a locality. Daily expenditure is given and the question asks find the mean daily expenditure on food by a suitable method. So we'll form the table first. Okay. The frequency is given here. Let us find out the class marks. Class marks will be midpoint of the class interval 100 and 150. What is the midpoint? Midpoint will be 125. Okay. 150, 200. What is the midpoint? 175. So this will be 225, 275, 320. Okay, you can take the assumed mean to be 225. Assumed mean to be 225. Okay, what are the deviations? 175 minus 225. So that will be minus 50. This will be minus 100. This will be 50 and 100. The reason an assumed mean is taken midway is because some of them will be negative, some of them will be positive. So when you sum them up later on, it will be easier to handle it. Okay, rather than summing up all positive numbers. So that is why the assumed mean is taken somewhere in the middle. Okay, you can very well take the assumed mean to be 175 also. Okay, you will get one negative number, the others will be all positive. Okay, looking at minus 100, minus 50, 50 and 100, you see that 50 is the common factor, so you take H as 50. All the DIs, right, these are DIs, deviation, you divide by 50. Minus 100 by 50 is equal to minus 2. Similarly, minus 50 by 50 will be minus 1. This will be 0, this will be 1 and 2. So the numbers have become simple. Now let us multiply Fi and Ui here. 4 into minus 2 is minus 8. 5 into minus 1 is minus 5. This is 0. 2 into 1 is 2. 2 into 2 is 4. Okay. So we'll have to find out first sigma Fi Ui. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 minus 8 is minus 2. Minus 2 and minus 5 is minus 7. So minus 7 will be sigma Fi Ui. Okay. What is sigma Fi? Sigma Fi is already given 25 households. Okay. It is already given in the question as 25 households. So let us put it in a formula. Mean is equal to A plus sigma Fi Ui by sigma Fi, this multiplied by H. Okay, this is the formula for mean using step deviation method. Okay, assumed mean is 225 plus sigma Fi we calculated as minus 7 by sigma Fi is 25 into H. H is 50. Okay, so the calculation is actually simpler. 25 and 50, you can cancel them. Okay, 225 minus 14, which will give you 221. So 221 is the mean that this question is asking for. Okay, let us move on to the next question. To find out the concentration of SO2 in the air in parts per million ppm, the data was collected for 30 localities in a certain city and is presented below. So sigma Fi we have already known is 30 localities. We have to find out the mean. So this is also similar in nature with all other previous questions that we did. Let us see which method we can apply, and that will make us easier to calculate. So I have written down all the class intervals here. Okay, and the frequencies, which is the number of localities, are given here. Okay, class marks will be midpoint of the class interval. What is the midpoint of 0.00 and 0 between 0.04? What is the midpoint? The midpoint will be 0.02. This will be 0.06, 0.10. Okay, so like this you can calculate. You can just add 0.04 to next one, right? This will be 0.14, 0.18, 0.22. Okay, you have calculated the class marks. Now you have to find out what is the deviation. You can multiply fi and xi. The numbers are still okay, but to make it even more simpler to handle, because decimal is involved, what you do is, let us do the step deviation method here also. Let us first find out what is the deviation. We can take the assumed mean to be 0.10. Okay, we'll take assumed mean to be 0.10. So the deviation we'll have to find out of the assumed mean from all other class marks. So we'll do 0.06 minus 0.1. Okay, so this will give you 0.04. This will be 0. This is minus 0.04 because 0.06 is greater. This will be plus 0.04. This will be 0.08, 0.12. This will be minus 0.08. Okay, now you see that 0.04 you can take as h, because that is the common multiply. So you divide by 0.04. So let me write that for you. Minus 0.08 divided by 0.04. This will be 2. I'm just writing it for your clarification once. This will be minus 1. This is minus 2. Sorry. 0. This will be 1, 2 and 3. So now the numbers have become minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. It is easier to handle than something in decimal. So let us figure out what is the product of fi and ui. 4 into minus 2, minus 8. 9 into minus 1, minus 9. This will be 0. This will be 2, 8, 6. Okay. Now you have to find out what is sigma fi ui. 8 and 8 can get cancelled. I'm just showing it to you here. 6 plus 2 is 8, minus 9 is minus 1. So sigma fi ui is minus 1. Let us write the formula here. Mean is equal to a plus sigma fi ui by sigma fi whole multiplied by h. What is a? A is 0.10. 0.10 plus sigma fi is minus 1. What is sigma fi? How many number of localities are there? We can either see in the question 30, or we can add them up. So we know sigma fi is 30. So we don't need to add also. So this will be 30. And h is 0.04. 0.0. This is 0.10 plus, this is minus actually, minus 0.04 by, so 0.04 by 30. So let us see how we can simplify this. 10 upon 100 minus, this is just to show you how you can calculate it faster. So you can write it like this: 4 upon 3 divided by 1000, right? There are 2 zeros here, so 2 zeros will come down, and there is 1 0 with 30. So you'll write 3 zeros here. Now it is easier to simplify it like this: 0.1 minus 4 by 3 is 1.333. You know that, right? So this is 1.333 divided by 1000. So what you can write is 0.1 minus, you have to shift 3 decimals. Okay, you first write 1333, decimal is here, so you shift 3 places, 1, 2 and 1 more. So you will get 0.1 minus 0.0013. You can take till this part. Okay, and you can easily subtract it. Just represent it like this so that you do not do any calculation mistake. Okay, so this will be 79189, this will be 0.0987. So approximately you can write 0.099. Hope you understood how I have calculated it here to make it simplified and we do not make any mistake. Let us move on to the next question. A class teacher has the following absentee record of 40 students of a class for the whole term. Find the mean number of days a student was absent. We have been given the class interval as number of days, number of students as the frequency. Okay, and one thing that you might find it interesting is the class size here is 6. If you see here, 0 to 6 the difference is 6, and 6 to 10 the difference is 4, and again the difference is 4, 6, 8. So you see the class size is different. So even if the class sizes are different, you will continue to use the same method as previous questions state. Okay, so let us see. 0 to 6, 6 to 10 we wrote it here in class interval, so we'll go by the same method as I said, just like how the previous question stated. We'll do the same method. So 0 to 6, what is the class marks? Class marks will be midpoint, it will be 3. 6 to 10, the midpoint will be 6 plus 10, 16 by 2 is 8. 10 plus 14, 24 by 2, 12. 14 plus 20 is 34. 34 divided by 2 is 17. 20 plus 28, 48 divided by 2, 24. 38 plus 28 is 66. Half of it is 33, which is the midpoint. 38 plus 40, it is 78. Okay, 78, what is the midpoint? You can easily calculate it as 39 is the midpoint. Okay, now you have to find out the differences. To find out the differences, you will have to take an assumed mean. So somewhere in the midway it is 17, so we'll take A as 17. Okay, let us find out the deviations of all the class marks from 17. 17 minus 17 is 0. Okay, let us write it for this 12. 12 minus 17 is minus 5. 8 minus 17 is minus 9. Okay, 3 minus 17 is minus 14. 24 minus 17 is 7. 33 minus 17 is how much? 16. 39 minus 17, 19. Is it 19? 39 minus 17? No, 22. Okay, so we can see that the numbers are minus 14, minus 9, minus 5, 0, 7, 16, 22. So there does not seem to be any common factor among these numbers. So we will not use any h value, which means we are not going to find out ui. We'll stop it here itself and use assumed mean method because we don't have a good h value to find out ui. So we'll use only the di's, the deviation numbers. Okay, so fi and di we are going to multiply, so we are going to use here di because of the assumed mean method. 11 minus 14. So 11 into minus 14 is minus 154. Minus 90 minus 35 0 28 48 22. So let us calculate sigma fi ui. So we see that 28 and 22 will give us 50. 50 plus 48 is 98. Okay, so this part will give us 98. We minus 90 from that, we'll get 8. So we'll keep 8 here, and minus 154 and minus 35 will give us minus 189. So minus 189 plus 8 will be minus 181. So we get sigma FIUI as minus 181. Okay. Number of localities, sigma Fi. Let us check whether the number of localities is given. 40 students. Sorry, this should be students here, not localities. So this should be students. Number of students will be 40. Let us put it here in the formula. We are using assumed mean method. So our formula will be a plus sigma Fi di by sigma Fi. Okay. Assumed mean is 17 plus sigma Fi di is, this should be Fi di minus 181 by sigma Fi is 40. Okay, this will be 17 minus 181 by 4. Let us do 181 by 4. 4 4 16 21. Okay, by 10. So this value will be 17 minus 4.525. Okay, so you can take 17.00 and you can take 4.52 like this. Okay, you can subtract like this. 8, this will be 4, 17 will become 16 minus 4, 12. 12.48. 12.48 should be the answer, the mean, using the assumed mean method. We did not use step deviation method, as I said, because there is no suitable h here, no common factor between all these numbers that we got when we found out the list of deviation. Okay, hope you understood this question. Thank you guys for watching this video. We'll continue to finish this exercise 14.1. We have some more questions left, and please do watch our other videos to get the background of this entire chapter, and just leave your comments and feedback for us to improve. If there is any other chapter, you can give us the chapter name also. Do go to our website onlinepsa.in for other chapter questions, and also for aptitude examination questions if you are preparing for one. Thanks for watching.